So Mother's Day is approaching this weekend, and a lot of adult children of narcissists are struggling with how they're going to feel. Are you among them? If so, this video is for you. Let's get started. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. If that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. Whether we like it or not, our relationships with our narcissistic mothers are one of those things that has a lifelong influence on us. It affects our personality, our behavior, our self-esteem. If we're lucky, the legacy can turn into something positive. But when we're raised by someone who's a difficult mother or a toxic mother or a narcissist or someone with narcissistic personality disorder, we dread Mother's Day. We dread days that celebrate motherhood. We dread mom's birthday sometimes. But here's the deal. If you're not yourself a parent, then you probably still focus on your mother during Mother's Day. And even if you are a parent, if you're not currently in contact with your mother, or you never resolved your relationship with her, or she just stresses you the hell out, Mother's Day is stressful for you, even if you are a parent sometimes. So for those who are mothers, one of the things I recommend is to focus on yourself and your own children on Mother's Day. That has always been beneficial for me. For most parents and their children, whatever the glitches are, the relationship is mostly comforting and supportive. This is not the case for children of narcissists. For some people, there's just more pain. There's more negativity in the mother-child relationship than there is comfort or pleasure. And that is what we experience if we have narcissistic mothers. Since Mother's Day is one of the most often celebrated holidays in the United States, a lot of people really stress out about this day when it comes to dealing with difficult parents. It should be a special day to honor mothers and to appreciate them for everything that they do, right? But the fact of the matter is, sometimes our mothers can be different than the person who gave birth to us. What do I mean by that? Well, there are different types of mothers in our lives. Sometimes we have a mother who is a friend. Sometimes we have a mother who is our spouse's parent, or we have a mother who is the parent of one of our friends, or we have a mother who is ourself. Because one of the best ways to learn to love yourself after you go through narcissistic abuse is to imagine, what would a good mother have treated me like? How would a good mother have treated me? How would a good mother have loved me? You have to learn to love yourself that much. You have to give yourself unconditional love. So how can you do that if you aren't a mother? How can you do that if you are a mother but you didn't have an example of unconditional love? Well, if you aren't a mother, or if you are a mother, imagine if you had your own child, or if you do have your own child, imagine how much you love your own child and what you would say to or advise your own child to do in any given situation. Same goes for nieces, nephews, sisters, brothers, people that you feel really close to, best friends, people who aren't family but are like family. How would you advise someone you love to handle anything? And when you ask yourself that question when you're going through a difficult situation, if you can imagine, what would it be like if my own child or my own friend or whatever was in the same situation, what would I say to them? Give yourself the same advice, give yourself the same amount of love, the same amount of consideration in every situation. Mother's Day tends to trigger our old feelings even when we're healed from our narcissistic relationships with our parents. It reminds us of what we thought we had. It reminds us that the parent that we thought we had is no longer in existence, even if they're still physically alive. We believed our parent was this way and it turns out they were that way, or we wanted a mother who loved us unconditionally and we didn't get that. The triggers bring on PTSD symptoms, stress symptoms. Our emotions kind of just fall in on themselves. Even if we're incredibly strong and healed, this day can really bring us down. This year, let's make it different. Let's not do it. Let's not let it happen to us this year. If you've come from a dysfunctional family, if one or both of your parents was a narcissist, you probably ask yourself, should I acknowledge Mother's Day? Should I send a card? Should I send a gift? Should I show up and bring a card or a gift? What should I do? Should I just ignore the day? How should I act? One of the things that makes Mother's Day so hard, I think, is looking at social media and television and everything and seeing all the wonderful, perfect, amazing relationships people have with their mothers. And I'd like to remind you that no relationship is perfect, number one. And number two, sometimes being a child of a narcissist has its own weird benefits. There are strengths that we gain that other people don't have. I've told you guys before, sometimes when you get through the recovery period of being with a narcissist or dealing with a narcissist, you become the strongest person you know in real life, and that's pretty amazing. Understand, yes, a healthy mother's love is powerful. Absolutely. It definitely gives kids a better start in life, for sure. It gives them amazing memories. It gives them the gift of compassion, the gift of unconditional love, things we didn't necessarily have from our mothers. If you didn't have that, and if you had a toxic mother or a mother who was otherwise negatively affecting your life, you might have found yourself either connecting to other moms in your world or just kind of feeling like you're floating out there all alone. And this day will just bring back those feelings to you. You ask yourself, like, why did my mom have to do that to me? Why couldn't I have a mom who loved me unconditionally? What did I do to deserve this lack of love or this lack of concern? You wonder why you have to feel lost all the time. You wonder, was it your fault? You find yourself beating yourself up and just wanting to just give up on the whole deal. And even when you know better, that little child inside yourself says, is something wrong with me? Are you sure it's not me? I think it might be me, right? And so you have to figure out how to comfort that little child in a different way. Does that make sense? Most adult children of narcissists, girls, boys, would tell you that somehow or another they knew something wasn't quite right. Now, in some situations, you'll have kids that'll be like, well, I just thought that was how parents were. And up to a point, that's true. But then when they start visiting with their friends or spending time with other people, they may have gone, that's weird. That's different. That's different. Why isn't that kid scared of mom or dad? Why isn't that kid, running away when mom looks at him that way or whatever? Most of us understood early that there was something not quite right about what we were going through. When your needs aren't being met, as a child, you typically blame yourself. You typically feel like you're not good enough. Constantly. That was a constant feeling for me growing up. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. Of course, that was reinforced by my narcissistic husband, ex-husband, thank goodness. When your needs aren't being met as a child and as an adult, when you've been conditioned this way, you blame yourself. What you realize later is that, okay, well, maybe it wasn't totally my fault, but by this point, you're already completely conditioned and you're focused on, it's all your fault. I was the real problem. But in real life, it wasn't you. Okay, in real life, now, logically speaking, it wasn't you. It's really difficult for someone who is an empath to wrap their head around the fact that someone else can't understand or feel empathy at all. This is why so many people who go through narcissistic abuse tend to keep trying again and again, because they think to themselves, maybe if I can just explain it the right way, maybe if I could just show this person, hey, this is how you do it, or maybe they just didn't understand me all those years. And you keep looking for reasons to try because as an empathic person, you know that probably 99% of the people in your life you could actually affect in a positive way if they give you the opportunity to do so. So you think to yourself, well, maybe this narcissist will get a clue, and maybe this narcissist, my mother, my father, whatever, will get a clue and go, hey, you know what? She is okay. He is okay. That's all right. You know what? Maybe I was wrong about this person all these years. And then some part of you still wants to please them and excite them and make them proud of you, even though you know that even in your lifetime when they have been proud of you, it was always tempered with, but good job on making $1 million in your business. But you know what? You haven't seen me in like a week and I need some stuff done around the house or whatever. That's a really lame example because it's made up. But my point is, whatever you do is never good enough for your narcissistic parent. And so as you go through your life, even when you do something that they're happy with you about, there's always a but. There's always a veiled insults situation. We think, oh, if I just act better. We think, if I just love more, if I do more, if I do better, if I change myself a little bit more, I can be good enough for her. Guess what? It's not you. It's not you. You could be the richest, most famous person on the planet, whoever that would be, and it would not be good enough for your narcissistic mother. They would always want more. They would always want more. So how do you deal with this on Mother's Day? How do you deal with this feeling? Here's what I suggest. I suggest that you focus on yourself and your children if you have them, or the people in your life, your pets, people in your life who feel like your children, and or focus on yourself. Focus on taking care of yourself. Whether you're a mother or not, you are a mother or a father in some way. You, at the very least, have to be your own parent when you have a narcissistic parent, especially a mother. You have to learn things yourself. You have to develop yourself. You have to make your own choices. This is what you can do. If you don't have someone in your life to be the mother figure, loving mother that you need, it's a loss. It's significant and it hurts you. It makes you feel real pain and real sadness. What can you do if your mother's a narcissist on Mother's Day? What can you do? What can you change? The first thing you have to realize is, again, it's not your fault. This is a personality disorder. This is something they have become. And you have to remember a few real specific things. Number one, like I said, don't blame yourself. It's pointless. It will only hurt you more. You can't blame yourself for something you didn't do. You didn't choose for your parent to be a narcissist. And you didn't choose for your parent to emotionally abuse and neglect you growing up because they were a narcissist. So you have to accept the circumstances as they are and treat yourself with unconditional love as you move forward. The second thing you can do, like I said, is make sure that you celebrate you, that you take care of you. Whether you're currently a mother or father or not, there is that part of yourself that has to be your own parent. Number 3, look around your life and find those mom types that you have connected with. So people in your life who have made you feel like, I wish my mom was like that person, or I wish my dad was like that person. Those might be people you might want to celebrate on Mother's Day. Another thing you can do is build up your own arsenal of tools. So do things throughout the day that make you feel good about yourself. Do things throughout the day that help you make other people feel good. Because when we can make other people feel good in our lives, we can also sort of reap the karmic benefits of that. When we're sending love out into the world, love comes back to us. Don't forget about people in your life who helped you get through things. Like maybe you had a really good grandma or aunt or friend. Those people should also be celebrated on Mother's Day, even if you don't directly contact them. If they're people who helped you go through what you went through during your childhood and young adulthood or whenever it was, you can honor those people as much as you like. If you are a mom, take the time to think about what you wish your mother had given to you and give that to your kids, and also to yourself. If you're not a mom, take the time to think about what your mother should have done for you and do that for yourself and maybe for someone else in the world. Maybe you can save a child from becoming a narcissist or from becoming a broken empath by being there for them if their mother isn't. Remember to keep working on your own recovery, because if you can do that, you can prevent giving your children the same fate that you had as a child. You can break the cycle, break the legacy in the family. Because as we all know, toxic relationships tend to be cyclical. They tend to go from parent to child and so on and so forth, and it's passed down throughout generations. So somewhere down in your family history, somebody became toxic and that person carried it throughout without even maybe realizing what was happening. What do you think about that concept? I think that's a really true statement for like a large percentage of us. We could probably look back and see dysfunction several generations back, and I'm really interested in knowing what you have to say about this, so leave me a comment on that, would you? A few more quick tips. Make sure you do something that you love that day, even if that's sitting in front of the TV and watching your favorite movies. Just do something for yourself. Do something that you enjoy doing. Try not to be affected by any guilt trips or fog treatments, fear, obligation, guilt, from the people who if you have disconnected or gone no contact or low contact with your parents. And then talk to other people. Understand that when people understand what you're going through, it can validate you as a person, and that can help you break the toxic legacy. That is why I started the SPAN group. If you're interested, you should go check it out at queenbeing.com/SPAN. It's free. It's confidential. It's through Facebook. It's a private group. And my admins are amazing. They really, really help the group. They are connected. They are constantly watching and constantly trying to help people. And I come in when I can. My business manager, her assistant, my assistant, everybody pops in. It's an active group. It's a supportive group, a loving group. It's like a little family. I like to call it a Spanily. Come join us if you need support. I guarantee that group's going to be hopping on Mother's Day because we've all been there. You won't be alone. Okay? I'm wrapping up for right now. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And happy Mother's Day to you. This year it can be really happy. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your day and a part of your life. Thanks for being a part of mine. It really means a lot to me. I'll see you soon. It's my mission to teach others what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. Take care of your body. Take care of your soul. Nurture the real you and introduce him or her to the world. Be comfortable in your own skin and in your place in this world. Take your spot. Take it now. And the universe will take its cue from you. You feel me? If so, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it done together.